on multiple verticals because we have VAs that are there fighting for our cause, helping us do the things that need to get done on a day-to-day basis. So we can focus on the most important tasks that we can have, right? So like, what am I like most skilled at? Like, what is the one area that I'm like a level 10? Like, I do this really, really, really proficiently. How can I do more of that and less of everything else? We do that by finding leverage, and we do that with VAs. So that's what we've talked about up to this point, guys. So number 43, episode 43 of Morning Momentum. This week, we're talking about marketing strategies for your real estate business. Marketing strategies that maybe not a lot of people talk about. Maybe you heard them in passing, but how do you implement that? That's what we're talking about this week. Yesterday, I shared with you guys a little trick that I have heard and what we have implemented using insurance adjusters to send you leads, man. Send you great opportunities and being able to work together with them so both of you guys make money. So it's a good place to start. Today, we're going to be sharing with you number 2, the second tip that I feel like not a lot of people talk about, especially with the direction that real estate market is going. Like real estate marketing, not the real estate market, but like what's happening in the real estate investing world. I think the barrier of entry has been low for a long period of time where everyone can just come in and get started with little money out of your pocket, and you can get a deal where you make, crazy amount of money. Well, that barrier is going to get higher and higher and higher over time. And we're starting to see that probably within the next 3 months of what's happening with SMS marketing. Carriers are starting to put more strict policies in place to make it harder to reach your customer, harder to reach your ideal prospect via SMS. And that's been the easiest way for people to get into this business for probably the last 3 years, right? Come in, send some text, send 500 texts, pay a 2 cents per text, and have an opportunity to get a deal. Well, guys, it's going to get harder, and it is. It's happening right now. May 1st. So May 31st. It's in May when they're actually going to start cracking down. I actually saw a post this morning from Twilio, as well as some other major carriers, because Twilio basically is the middleman, right? Twilio is a service that texts out. You use Twilio as a service, or most of these big texting platforms use a service like Twilio. That's like a web-based phone number to send out text messages. And what they're getting from the carriers is, hey, this is what's happening. This is what we're restricting. You can no longer send the whole opt-in, opt-out, cold audience stuff. You will get flagged, and there's going to be bigger penalties in place for it. So with that, SMS is it's on its final leg. Even if there's some loopholes in May to continue doing it, you're looking at another 6 months, maybe, before the regulations in place just make it to where these platforms can't do bulk texting. Okay. So it's important for you right now. It's important for you to get on with what's happening. It's important for you to get better marketing practices to reach your prospect. Yes, a lot of these things, it's going to be hard to beat a text message where it's a penny per text. But at the end of the deal, if you keep your margins healthy and you're reaching your prospects, then if you have to spend $3,000 for a deal where you make 10, your return is still very, very, very good. Okay, so I want you guys to get ready for that. There's a lot of people transitioning, trying to get better on cold calling now, because cold calling has been something that a lot of people talk about. They're just not very good at. But, they're in the cold calling, they're in the SMS, but SMS has been primarily most of their results. Now they're reaching out to me saying, hey, Matt, how can we better on cold calling? How can we get better with our script? How can we get better with this, and this? Like, what do we need to do to make my VAs better? It's like, man, there's a lot of stuff that goes into cold calling. It definitely works. You need to get it right. And there's no better time to get it right than right now. But that's not the tip I want to share with you guys. But number 1, I just wanted to get your mindset to the point where you realize that SMS is not going to be here that much longer. So you need to start finding creative ways to reach your prospects, especially if you're on a tight budget. If you have a bunch of money to spend, then obviously, playing the long game, getting good reviews online, doing, pay per click and things like that, that's always going to be there, right? What I talk about with marketing is you want to be places where everyone is not, right? So what is everyone doing? All the bottom feeders are doing texting and SMS. I say bottom feeders. I mean people who get started with no money and they're hoping for the best. They're spending a little bit of money. It's like, why am I not getting any deals, right? That's where everybody is. The bottom is overcrowded. But where can you go where not everyone else is? So today, it's tip number 2 is you're going to want to start pulling a much more niche list, right? The same people that you're calling, the same people that you're texting. A good place to start would be like driving for dollars, pre-foreclosure, divorce, probate, vacant, all these niche lists, and stacking them to the nth degree. Think about when you're telemarketing, who is the people that aren't answering their phone, right? Who are you having a hard time reaching? Typically, it's vacant properties. It's people who are out of state or maybe even out of country owners. And typically it's older folks as well. It's typically a little bit harder to reach them via an SMS or a text message, or do you have the right landline phone number or whatever. That's typically the group of people. So what you're going to want to do, guys, for tip number 2 here is you want to take all these niche lists, take them, boom, 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 boom. All those ones I just said, driving for dollars, do it, continue doing it. It's a great place to get started. It doesn't cost you any money as much as it costs your time, or if you're using batch driven, it's $49 a month to build an awesome list. Driving for dollars, perfect. Pre-foreclosures, great time to get good at those too, because there is a shadow inventory that is just waiting there. Hopefully the lenders can figure something out with their borrowers so we don't see a tremendous amount of foreclosures, because that's not good for anybody. It's not good for families across America. But just know that that is coming too. So pre-foreclosures is big. It's another one you want to get good at right now. The divorce, right? Divorce list, water shut off, tax liens, like all these niche lists. You want to stack them and find which properties are on multiple lists. You can do that in batch leads. If you have batch leads, it's a great place to put all your data into. Right? You segment your list. Like here's the tax liens, here's the driving for dollars, here's the probate, here's these things. You have 6-7 different lists, and find the ones that are on multiple lists, right? You guys, you probably heard this before, and then maybe you're already sending a small text campaign to these people. But I want to find, if I have 7 lists, like which ones are on 5 lists? Which ones are vacant and all these other things? And here's the thing. I'm going to stack it. I'm going to find properties that are on 4 or 5 of those lists, and I'm going to send a mailing campaign to those people, because it's not going to be that many people. It's very cost effective. Okay. So, I mean, you're looking at, if I stack 5 or 6 lists, if you have a small amount of data, that might be 30 people. That might be 40 people. It might be 100. But your cost in comparison to, like, okay, everyone's trying to call these people. Everyone's trying to text these people. How can I get my message in front of them? This is such an important campaign to start running in your business, because it's just going to run like clockwork. Whoever's on that list every single month is going to get your mailer. So maybe someone's been there for 3 or 4 or 5 months, right? No, they're not answering anyone's calls. They're not answering anyone's texts. Of course, you're still doing those other things, especially while SMS is around. You're still texting, but these same people that you're mailing, you're still calling, right? But it's a very small amount of people, so the cost is minimal, right? And now I'm totally against sending a big blanket mailing campaign. You're gonna spend a bunch of money, and you know how many times it takes to get a callback on those? Like maybe on the 5th to 6th time you're mailing them. So if you're mailing 10,000 people, the cost is crazy high. But if you're sending a very small niche mailing campaign to 30, 40, 50 people, maybe 100, 120 every single month, your return on your investment in that area, your return on your marketing there is going to be ridiculous. And you're doing what other people aren't doing. It requires an additional step. It requires an additional thought behind it. With texting and calling, it's very simple. Pull the data, text it. Pull the data, call it, right? And everyone is sitting there because that's where they're comfortable. A lot of people have maybe tried a mailing campaign in the past and they've sent 1 or 2 campaigns. Maybe some of you folks have never tried mailing because it's just like, well, I don't know where to do this. I don't know where to set this up, blah, blah, blah. Hey, I'm here to help. Send me an email, mattbeard@vahub.com. I'm here to help you. But this is a great place to get started, in a good area to start getting good at now with what we know is coming down the road with SMS, right? So when you reduce your costs, you're not sending a big blanket campaign. Understand that these same people, you're going to have to mail them 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, but you're not spending a ton of money in this area, and your return is going to be crazy, crazy high. So still, the idea is not just mail a blanket campaign. Idea is to stack 5, 6, 7 list. And maybe that's only 10 people right now. Send 10 mailers. Maybe that's 20, maybe that's 30, maybe that's 40 people. send those mailers, but make sure it's a stacked list. Don't send it to 2, 4, 3, 4, 5,000 because you're going to run out of money real quick. Understand that the best method of reaching these people is maybe sending them one mailer every single week for the first 4 weeks. And then the second month, they get one every other week. So by 60 days, they have already gotten 6 mailers from you. Okay? And the list is small enough where you can keep track of these things. It doesn't take a tremendous amount of mental effort to stay on top of this until you can make it systematic in your business. But again, knowing what's happening in 2 months, if you start mailing now, by the end of May, where everybody's like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with texting? What are we going to do? Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. You've already been doing these other things we're talking about. And of course, there's going to be 4 other tips this week that I'm excited to share with you guys, but you're already taking action on these things. So when that happens, you're not like, oh, well, I guess I missed the train. I guess I missed the big opportunity with texting. No, you're doing the things that other people aren't. You're already going to be set up and you're going to be ahead. So hopefully you guys can start implementing this in your business. You can stack your list within batch leads. You can obviously drive for dollars and batch driven. If you guys don't have batch driven, you can use this code here. You get your first week free, 50 free skip traces to get started on that. But use something like that to stack your data. I highly recommend getting it off of spreadsheets. Stack your data, send those niche campaigns so you're not left when something happens with everything else. You still have that, right? If cold calling went out the window, if SMS went out the window, you will have this foundation where you're still getting consistent leads. There's a reason why it works. And there's a reason why big companies still send mailers, but it's very, very, very expensive for them because they're sending big blanket stuff. You're going to keep it laser focused and focus on the people that need your help. So guys, start taking action on this right now. Hopefully you guys got some value from today. If you got some value from today, please like this video, please share it. And if you haven't yet, head over to my YouTube channel, Matthew Beard. Hit subscribe because we go live every single morning. This week, we're talking about 6 secret marketing strategies every single day. So Monday, we've already did that one. We talked about insurance agents. Today, talk about small niche mailing campaigns. And tomorrow, we got something special for you guys too. So hopefully you tune in for that live every single morning. Please head over to YouTube. Hit that subscribe button, and I would love to see you there. Guys, thank you for coming and hanging out with me on a Tuesday. It's time to get to work, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for coming and hanging out. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.